This is from Romans 1. It says, "For ever since the world was created, people have seen this earth and the sky. Through everything God made, they can clearly see his invisible qualities, his eternal power, and divine nature. So you have no excuse for not knowing God." Yeah, they knew God, but they wouldn't worship him as God or even give him thanks. And they began to think of foolish ideas of what God was like. As a result, their minds became dark and confused. Claiming to be wise, they instead became utter fools. And instead of worshiping the glorious, ever-living God, they worship idols, made to look more like people, birds, animals, and reptiles. So God abandoned them to do whatever shameful things their hearts desired. As a result, they did vile and degrading things with each other's bodies. They traded the truth about God for a lie. So they worshiped and served the things God created instead of the Creator themselves, who is worthy of eternal praise. That is why God abandoned them to their shameful desires, even the women turning against the natural way to have sex and indulge in the sex with each other. And then men, instead of having normal sexual relations with women, burned with lust for each other. Men did shameful things with other men as a result of this sin. They suffered with themselves the penalty they deserve. Since they thought it foolish to acknowledge God, he abandoned them to their foolish thinking and let them do things that should never be done. Their lives became full of every wickedness, sin, greed, hate, envy, murder, quarreling, deception, malicious behavior, and gossip. They are backstabbers, haters of God, insolent, proud, and boastful. They invent new ways of sinning and they disobey their parents. They refuse to understand, break the promises, and heartless and have no mercy. Sometimes that sounds like myself. I am the worst of sinners, you know. I need God every day. You know, I believe in God and Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. But the evil one tries to sow in doubt and stress and anxiety in my life. And it's just like, it's exhausting. The battle sometimes is exhausting. I know God. He knows me. I belong to him. And I believe.